Do you have any free agency hot takes on anyone? And what do you want the Giants to do in the offseason? I know the draft is far away. I won't even talk about the draft, but like, do you have any free agency hot takes? And what do you want from your G-men?
Yeah, I have this random, which maybe you won't love this one. I'm like getting weird vibes with DeAndre.
If you're going to say Marvin Jones, bye. See ya. Love you. Yeah. Thanks for the help. See ya.
I think that the Falcons are a very interesting team to look at for DeAndre Hopkins. Just keep that in mind. That's like my one blanket statement that I just want to make is Saquon Barkley is going to be a Giant next year, no matter how much everyone wants to like waste their like air. And even if the Giants overpay for it, it's just like gonna happen.
I think it's gonna be the Aaron Judge thing, like the Yankees, like kind of like let people think that he was gonna go somewhere else. For the drama and the New York media, I agree with you. They will do the same thing.
He's going to come like. There is no, I don't remember an athlete saying I want to be a Giant for life more than Saquon Barkley. Like I don't know anyone that's ever said it to this extent. And like you think about Le'Veon Bell and what happened with him, like Saquon's going to get franchise tagged. Then they're going to come up with some type of deal that works. And then they're going to pay Daniel Jones and then they're going to stay together. The guys are literally, it's just, that's what's going to happen.
They're like so cute.
It's cute. Like I like that they love each other. I don't know what it is.
Too.
Like one's an all-star and like one's kind of like he's good, but he's not like it's just funny that they're such good friends, honestly.
I know. Are you happy that Daniel Jones kind of like earned his keep, or are you wishing that you guys were, flirting with somebody else or the draft? Or I mean, you are flirting with the draft to a degree, but I feel he did earn his keep, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, fucking damn it, dude, because you always want that, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, what I think Trevor Lawrence could become, and some of these other young guys, but it's just like, yeah.
I think they're opening themselves up. Like one thing that people don't understand is like the quarterback salary market. And I think it's like really misunderstood. Everyone is like shitting their pants about how much Daniel Jones might get paid without realizing that guys like Ryan Tannehill gets paid $29.5
Kirk Cousins was the most paid quarterback in the NFL at one point, people.
You should see Jared Goff's contract. You should see Carson Wentz makes $32 million a year. If they pay Daniel Jones $35 to $39 million a year, it's really not that serious. Like everyone needs to chill out. It's genuinely just.
I think that's a bit of an overpay, but I think they're going to have to overpay a little bit because he earned it.
Yeah. And that sucks. And that's their fault for not, it's not their fault because they couldn't at the time pick up his 5th-year option. And I totally get that. But I think they're in a spot where if they construct the contract right, if you do something where like you can get out of it after X amount of years, maybe you have a guy that next year they do draft a quarterback, or maybe they draft a project this year. They might end up doing that. It wouldn't surprise me.
I think you have to, because who's his backup next season?
I think that they'll probably, I thought Tyrod got a 2-year. He might only have a 1-year deal. I think they'll probably keep Tyrod there. I think they probably draft someone like
even if it's draft.
Oh my God, what's his name from TCU? Like he feels.
I don't know the redhead.
Doug.
It's not Hendon Hooker.
Duggan. What's his Duggar?
Max Duggan.
Yes. I had like a night sweats dream that we drafted him, so it probably is going to happen. If they draft someone like that, okay, cool. Let's see what happens. Ideally, I think they put themselves in a spot where like next year we probably will not have as good of a record. We got everything kind of aligned this year for them to be in the situation that they were. Our draft positions definitely knocked us out, but we have so many holes. Like that defense needs a lot of effing help, and they literally need a wide receiver 1. So that first pick in the draft is either going to go to it probably will end up being a wide receiver.
A lot of people are looking for receivers in this draft. It's that's like the hot commodity.
It is. And honestly, because the free agency, like the class right now is like not good.
It's a weird year for free agency. Yeah. What would you want Marvin Jones?
What's crazy is I wanted Marvin Jones. When was that? Like 2 years ago. And because Dave Gettleman had ties with him for a little bit, and I really thought that we were gonna get him for a while, but now it's like just like Eli Manning, like when they brought over Plaxico, like Daniel Jones just like needs I always tell people my like ongoing joke is like I don't have daddy problems, I have Plaxico problems. Like I was like and I used to say that drunk at the bar in college. Like I'd be like, oh no, I don't have daddy problems, I have Plaxico problems, whatever. But we need a real wide receiver 1. Like Kenny Golladay is the most disappointing thing and I've been on the record and said I never wanted him, like at all. Like I just didn't. I was, oh my God, worst day of my life is when we signed him. But we need a real wide receiver one. And I would actually rather bring in a vet and then draft someone. Like I don't want to take our chances. I want to bring in like a
Do you guys think you're not a good spot for DeAndre? That's what I was gonna say, is like when you're a young millionaire, like there's a few places that you want to be. And he does have a lot of decision because of his skill level of where he will be. It's not like a where can I get a contract? It's like there's maybe 4 or 5 teams realistically who don't need him. And so you look at LA, you look at Miami, you look at the New York teams, you look at maybe Dallas and Atlanta, and it's like you are one of those people. And I feel as though like you need, look at like Tua Tagovailoa and like his receivers. They fucking take so much work off of his plate that you need to do that for Daniel Jones.
And that's what he needs. And the thing is, like, when going back to the year that Daniel Jones was even drafted, not to be like story time, but a lot, like there was a lot of cons about him. He got drafted. It's funny because if Daniel Jones got drafted in the 2nd round, I actually think that there wouldn't be as much negative talk about him. I think that his one pro was that he had a great deep ball. He has the best wide receiver that he has ever played with is Sterling Shepard and debatably Golden Tate at the end of his career. Like, just get him a guy.
Somebody.
Like, I don't care. Like, I would be all in. I see Giants fans complain.
You could honestly say Saquon at wide receiver.
Dude, yeah, right? Like, go get T. Higgins. Like, I don't care. Like,
T. Higgins would be great.
Yeah, go get someone that's actually a real, like, it's been so long since we've had a true wide receiver one. Like, you just need weapons. Like, even Trevor, right? Like, look at the weapons that he got this year. And I don't think that it was any knock to Trevor's talent last year, but now you give him, like, show us what you have, Trevor. And he's like, okay, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, like, last year was a lot of like the Urban Meyer issue. Having Doug Peterson helped, having receivers helped. Now, if he can fix his turnover problem, chef's kiss, we're here, boys. Like, we're out here, fuck around and find out.
And he's exactly where you would want him to be, too.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's
you
okay.
Need 3 years. Like, 3 years, cool. You cannot judge a quarterback for 3 years 100%. Fully. You
and
can't.
Like people like don't realize, like, because Daniel Jones for so long, it was like the turnover problem. But what they fail to look at is, like, you look at his stats, like he has every single year slowly fixed it until this year.
He's a scrambler, dude.
He does not, now he doesn't turn the ball over at all. Like he's getting smarter. And I think a lot of that is like Brian Dable. And now places like Jacksonville, places like the New York Giants, again, they're appealing to free agents. Like, free agents actually want to go there. And it's been years since I could say that.
I have to say this, and I know it's a sensitive subject. Thank you for Evan Engram.
You're welcome. It's not great. And it's so funny because he quote tweeted me, like,
I know. That's why I was like, I know this is sensitive.
It's so funny because, like, if he actually like looked at, like, if he actually like consumed any of my like real content other than like what the announcers are. First of all, I don't think he realizes the announcers said that on TV. What I tweeted, like, that was not a authentic, genuine fucking post. I literally peeled from someone else's mouth. But like, if he actually consumed it, like, I'm pumped for Evan. Like, I hate that it didn't work out. I'm like fucking jealous that you guys pull it out, because he was fantastic his rookie year. And
now he wants to be in Jacksonville. And like nobody's wanted to be in Jacksonville for a long time.
Right. And that's such a good feeling. Like, you're in a good spot where it's like, when there is free agency battles, like, you can win those. You can actually start whining, dining guys and like getting them to come to Jacksonville, getting them to want to be on the Giants. Like, it's been a really long time to be able to say that. Doug Peterson has done a fantastic job. Like, he probably is not paid enough. Like, you look at Sean Payton, like, I don't know what the difference is.
Wild. That was the other news this week that I forgot to bring up.
I think it's probably going to end up being a massive overpay. And what people don't realize is someone like Doug Peterson, he also won a Super Bowl. Like, why are we? I don't know if it's because Sean
with Payton, fucking Nick Foles.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And Carson Wentz.
It's crazy to me that, like, Sean Payton gets so much hype that I actually don't think Doug Peterson got enough hype.
No,
I
don't either.
I was all in. I had Jacksonville to win the AFC South. Like, I was all in on this team because I believed in like the talent that was there and a real coach that could do that.
Yeah, I was like, that's the thing, is like, I got a little bit of heat for like my response to Byron Leftwich not being hired. And I'm glad at this point that he wasn't. But it's like Doug at the time had just taken a year off of football.
Yeah.
He hadn't made it known to the media why. But when you're in the media and someone takes a year off without knowing why, it's a red flag. For any reason, I'm sorry if that's harsh, but it's true. And the fan base had just been so sold on Byron Leftwich, and they didn't even kind of put blood in the water that Doug Peterson was someone that they were going after, to the point where like one of our like insider guys tweeted that Byron had been hired and everyone lost their shit. And then 6 hours later, Doug Peterson was our head coach. And it's like, for a city that had just been through everything that it had been through with Urban Meyer and back-to-back first picks and like whatever, it just like, it felt like the fucking sky was falling for a minute. And it's not that I didn't think he was a good coach, but it's just like we see some of these other guys get so much fucking hype. Do I think that Sean Payton is a great coach? Yes. Do I think that he also hid behind good coordinators and Drew Brees? Yes. Do I think that he can be better than fucking Nathaniel Hackett in Denver? I think 2 sticks of bread and a fucking whatever could be better than him there. Like, it just wasn't a fit. It's not that he's not a good coordinator. It just didn't work for him. And I think that they'll be fine. And by fine, I mean they'll be right over 500 with Sean Payton. But it's like, I don't expect the Doug Peterson turnaround that we had just because I don't know. Like, it's Russell Wilson's hard-headedness and not having like someone like Trevor Lawrence who's young and moldable and shapeable to buy into your system.
It's so different. And what people fail to realize, and I talked about this on like my show today, is the signs were there with Russell Wilson his last year with Seattle. And for some reason, we all ignore this. And I got so much shit for this. Like, he was having a hard time finding fucking Metcalf. And then you put him in a brand new system. And because Tom Brady was able to go somewhere and win a Super Bowl, because Matt Stafford was able to go somewhere and win a Super Bowl, all of a sudden it's like, we're going to put Russell somewhere new with Nathaniel Hackett, who was only brought there, I don't care if no one wants to admit it, to get Aaron Rodgers, and that's not who you got. And Russell seems like a very difficult person to have in a locker room.
Yeah, I've said this on this show before, and I'm not sure if you heard this, but Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch were on a show talking about, all that stuff, how they couldn't have his fucking phone number. They had to call him through his agent.
Imagine.
Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman. It's not like the fucking third string cornerback who wants your phone number.
It's not like the new like rookie that got drafted in the 6th. Like, we're talking about like what kind of, that's
Hall
like,
of Famers.
That's like me telling like the guys that work for me, here's my assistant to be able to contact me to get things done. Like, I mean, what kind of work environment is that? Like, oh God. And that irritates me more than anything. Like, some of that, a lot of it, I won't even say some, a lot of it was definitely Nathaniel Hackett. But I think that Broncos fans are a little bit like, I don't think this is going to be what you thought going into like this past year. Like, it's still not going to be this, like,
it's not going to be an overnight fix. No,
it's not. There's a lot of things there. And now you just gave up draft capital for a coach after you just gave up all this draft capital to get Russell Wilson and to come off this season that wasn't that
They're
great.
fucked for a long time.
And you saw them like losing you're losing the locker room there. Russ is losing. People are yelling at each other on the sidelines. Like, it's just not.
That flight would have sent me over the edge.
Oh my God, I would have punched him in the literal face, I think.
The fact that the Jags lost to them after that was like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And then they didn't take the bye after, which is fine. I do prefer when they take the bye after the London game, but like, I just was miserable.
It's like such a, I don't know. They were like, Russell was just such an irritating presence.
Figure. Yes.